and then it's all that dust is all over the place, and now you got to paint, and so it'll play off once everything's done. Right now, I'm like, I still got a lot of shit to do, so I'm not enjoying it. There's a hole in my kitchen wall looking into the living room right now.
Oh, yeah, no. And then everything's like out of place, and it just like, it mentally makes you out of place. It's very challenging to live in a house that you renovate. I mean, I know it's a small renovation that you're doing, but I mean, I have lived in houses where we were actually renovating. And it's inevitably, you always say, we're going to do one room. And then you start like getting bored of that room and you want to move on to the next room. And the next thing you know, the whole house is like a shambles. And that's just not easy to be.
It is, because you got to move from one room to put in the other while you clean this and then that. Yeah, it's so it's challenging. It's not something you can start. So I was at it, and then yesterday I just like I hit rock bottom, exhaustion, like dizzy exhaustion. So yeah, but in the long run, it's gonna pay off, right? Give it a week or two, because we still gotta renovate some other rooms, and I'll be good. I'll be happy. I'll be overjoyed that I said, let's do this now.
Yeah.
What better time to do it?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And it'll be done soon. When is it supposed to be finished?
Well, Saturday, someone's coming to move my washing machine from my art room to the back closet that I have on the other side of the house. So we got to do the floors, like the subfloors and all of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there are little things that need to get done before the big things are done. But I'm confident it'll all get done by Saturday. So I say by Sunday, I should have somewhat of order. So I'm happy. I'm happy. So,
good.
You know, everything's good. You know, I feel like once you decide to do something, just follow through. Because you're going to, you know, it's just like you have this car and you're going all over the place. And then you're looking for work and you get hired in the morning that you start your job. What happens? Either your battery's dead or you got a flat tire. Tell me that's never happened to you. So
no, I know.
You know. And I'm just saying, like, right now, it's not only because of my renovation. It's just, you know, yesterday I was forced to sit still for a while. So you do a lot of reflecting. And it's just about when you decide to do something, do it. And no matter how many hills and how many obstacles you got to go through, because the end result is always just it's a simple satisfaction. You know, it's not like you won the World Series or anything, but you conquered something that you set out to do, no matter how small. And I think that anyone out there doing something small, you know, just celebrate yourself and sit down and admire whatever it is you did. Even if you organized a magnet on your refrigerator, damn it, celebrate it. Because how many of us just walk by those things and they're all like lopsided, upside down at some point, and we don't pay attention to it. So if you organize your magnets on your refrigerator this weekend, I honor you.
I like when the magnet falls off, the back part falls off, and you still put that on without the like pretty cover. So all this is like boring black magnet up there without the boring cover. It's like you don't have a glue gun, you know, like I have so much glue in my house, it's like I can't take a second to glue the damn thing or throw it out. Get another magnet, you know.
That magnet is powerful. It's all about the magnet and what other junk it could hold up on that refrigerator.
Oh my God, I know. I was very disappointed when I bought my first stainless steel and found out that nothing stuck to the stainless steel. So I think they do now, but this particular one, it didn't stick. So I had, and my fridge slid in to the cabinets around it, had a little teeny piece that stuck out. And that was the only place on the side that I could hang stuff. But I guess in the end, it's like you pay all this money to buy this beautiful stainless steel fridge. Why the hell are we putting like all these magnets on the front, you know? So I guess that in the end, it worked out. It made me change my way of thinking. So anyway.
Because, you know, it's always the little things we take for granted. It's those magnets on the wall. It's our partner. You know, it's
How do we go from a magnet to the partner?
Because it's all in the same. We you know what? We expect it to always be there. So we don't take time out to nurture it, to to fix it
Okay.
up. And, you know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna nurture my magnets.
Yes, I say go for it. So yeah, that was me. I honor everybody who does that.
So, any new paintings behind you? I see some new stuff, right? Is there something new? Like the one on the one side of you with all the waves?
Oh, that one I did. A confession. I was very like out of it yesterday. Like so dizzy, I got nauseous, and that never happens to me. That's when I was forced to sit down. And then after my power naps, I made the painting. It's part of my menopausal series.
It's nice, but it's a woman laying there. That's nice. I love it. I love the colors.
It is. It's the woman laying there, right? And she's like, this is one arm, that's another arm.
Yep.
And the colors on top are her hair. Remember, in my menopause series, where the woman looks lethargic, here is where all the vibrant energies, you know, it never leaves them. So thank you. The other one I did a while ago, but you know how they say the eyes are the windows to the soul, and people read this. So on her, I just made her very emotionful, because if you see her face and her lips and even the way her eyes squint, but her eyes are empty. Thank you for that.
Let's do shout out.
Thank you. And your weekend, talk to me about your weekend.
Before we do, let's
To who?
let's say hi to Lillian. Lillian's on. Hi, Lillian. Glad you're here.
Lillian.
Don't forget, whenever people come on, just let me know where you're from. I'm also getting text messages from Nothing Live on my page. That's what it's saying right now. But yet, people are on.
From who?
From my friend. So one of the people that are going to be on our Thursday show, I'm gonna text him right now in the middle of our show. So while I do that, do you have anybody to shout out to, or nobody yet on your end? You doing a watch party?
Yes, there's Jana Lynn. I have some. I'm finally on. So let me. I wasn't on before for some reason. So Lillian, buenos dias. Good morning. Namaste. Jana Lynn Ochoa. Good morning.
Yeah, that's you. Oh, you didn't do a watch party. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. Okay, so we're both on the page.
Yeah, I just did a watch party.
Okay. All right. So I'm telling him, seems to be having trouble. Okay. So before we get to me and my weekend, one more thing. Let's talk about what's coming up for you tomorrow. This is exciting. So let's mention that.
Tomorrow at 7 p.m. My queens from Ajusta tu Corona, Lilian Maldonado and Francia Rodriguez are hosting, which I haven't selected what part, a book reading from Soul Searching for Peace, a book of tears shed in print tomorrow, 7 p.m. live on Facebook with Lilian Maldonado and Francia Rodriguez.
On which channel? On which channel?
Zoom.
Is it your channel or is it Lillian's channel?
From Zoom to Lillian's channel. So okay. I guess we'll just, Francia and I will share it. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be sharing right at that moment because I'm going to be busy doing a reading, which I'm going to have to just ask, figure out which reading I'm going to do, which is always exciting. Like, what am I going to talk about? Well, I'm just going to be my normal self and go from chapter 1 to chapter 7 and then skip back to 3 and then 4, because then I'm not going to read straight. Like,
yeah, whatever you want to do.
Because I'm so proud of this book. Exactly. I'm so proud of it. And it's like, I love every part of it, even the little minuscule eras that are in there, but that's okay because it gave it character. So, pa'lante, I can't wait. Thank you. Now talk to me about you.
So let's see, my weekend, I had my niece over. We camped out on the back deck. Actually, I ended up not camping out. We put the tent up. We were going to do a camp out, but my 16-year-old and my niece wanted to just hang out, just the two of them. So I got booted out. I wasn't allowed.
Oh.
And
Oh,
but it was nice. And then Sunday I had like one client, but I normally don't work on Sundays, but I had been working because of the heaviness of my schedule and having to fit my daughter's teaching in. But I just, it came to a realization, I just got to take Sundays off. I can't be working 7 days a week. It's too much because I end up working on Saturdays as well. So, so that was the last Sunday that I worked, but I only worked in the morning. The rest of the day was pretty, it was nice riding bikes with the kids and stuff like that. And, turtle hunting. My little one likes to go turtle hunting. This year, a lot of the turtles are hatching. So we have a pond across the street, and a lot of these turtles are hatching, and they're like slowly making their way across the street to the pond because they come on land to lay. So my 6-year-old has decided that she needs to go
be the crossing guard.
Yeah, well, yeah, because there's so many of them get squashed. So she rides her bike with her bag, like, around the street to see if any of them are crossing that she could rescue, and she rescued 2. And
That's awesome.
we have them. She's insisting that they're going to stay with her forever, but we'll see. I want to let them go at some point so that they have a life out there in the wild. But and I guess that's about it. Nothing that I can think of. I felt pretty good this weekend. I didn't feel too great last weekend, but I felt pretty good this weekend. Last night I had my show on Latitude 28's Facebook channel, my group coaching. So if you are on Monday nights, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern time on Latitude 28 Band's Facebook channel. And so every Monday night. And
yes, I watch them. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else. So let's mention what we have coming up today. And then just quickly also mention what we plan for Thursday. We'll mention it again for Thursday at the end of this. So today's conversation is
Bad dates.
Oh, you forgot for a second.
No, I was going to say something else, and I'm like, no, I think it's bad dates, not poor.
Bad dates, right. So we want to hear from you. We're going to talk about our bad dates, and we want to hear from you, the viewers. Put your comments in if you want to share your bad dates. If you've never had a bad date, put that on there, and you can write, you can say that you've never had a bad date. I personally can't say that I've never had a bad date. It doesn't have to be a first date, although those tend to be the most common bad dates are the first dates. It could be somebody you were dating for a bit and you just had one lousy date, but we want to hear that. And then let's just quickly mention about Thursday's show. So we know Thursday we have our guests on. So we're going to have 2 guests on. One of them is a friend of mine and one of them is a friend of Margarita's. And we're going to be talking about how to be happy, how to bring happiness into your daily life. So in other words, we're going to talk to people that are happy. Margie and I are happy people. We're going to talk about what we do, and we're going to talk to our guests about what they do to be happy every single day. And don't miss that one, because that one's really good, because when you're feeling sorry for yourself, this is where you want to get this information and bring it to you so that you can, when you're feeling down in that pity party, you can get yourself out of it a lot quicker. And we all have those moments. I mean, it happens, but let's make them short. All right.
Yes.
So let's talk about, where are we on time? So let's talk about, I do this to myself all the time. Do you have
1 minute. I just want to give a shout out to my sister, Connie. She says, hi, sis. Hi, Lori. Good morning, hermana.
Hi, Connie.
And Ruthie Wright. Good morning.
Yes,
welcome.
Ruthie, my niece is on. And
Yes.
I want to say hi to Carmen. And Carmen says, look, did you want us to look at the phone? Is that what the problem is? And then I saw Ephraim. Ephraim is on. Ephraim's going to be our guest on Thursday, one of our guests. So we're excited to have him on today. He's
welcome, Ephraim.
So,
Am I saying his name right?
Ephraim.
Ephraim?
I think so, right? She said it better, I would imagine. I'm saying it like a white girl, so it's
But listen, like we ask everybody to please put in the comments where you're from. I don't care if 50 of you are from Bridgeport. Show love. And we also have
your state.
every week is the the coffee mug challenge. Like, just take a selfie with your mug or just of your mug and put it in the comments.
Yes.
We're doing a coffee mug challenge, and we'll see. Like, I don't know, Lori and I are going to talk about it, but I think you should get something like the one who's consistent with it for X amount of time. Like I would. That's why it's a challenge. But just show your love by saying where you're from and show your coffee mug.
Share the video. And share the video too. You gotta.
Yes, the video. I see some people sharing it, but let's share the love.
So you know what I was thinking for the coffee mug challenge? You're right. The person who posts the most picture to us on our Facebook page, they could win a coffee mug, and they could win a Viva Cafe con Leche coffee mug that you will make, that you haven't made yet.
Yeah, waiting for the now that you're saying that, because Lillian received her book yesterday, and I sent out 10 books, and Francia's right here in Florida. She didn't get hers, and so I'm hoping by today, and then several people in Shelton and Ansonia. So I'm hoping they got it as well. But all that, my Etsy order still hasn't arrived. You get them, and other places it takes longer than normal. I don't understand. All right, so you're gonna get your mug. But I think that's awesome. Yeah, we'll do a Viva Cafe con Leche mug, and then you can have coffee with us in the mug and show off.
So Carmen says, you ladies look great. That's what she said. And I want to say hi to Lynn Len. And Ephraim said, hey, beautiful ladies. Thanks. Yes. So we're both right, he said. He said, call me. You want me to call you, like, right now? Like, in the middle of the broadcast, Ephraim, you want me to call you?
He said we're both right. You saying it in English and me saying it in Spanish.
He likes either way. Either way.
Oh. See, not me, Ephraim. I am Margarita. I am not Margarita. I am Margarita. Let's take it, Margarita. No Margarita here.
Yes. Right. Lillian says, my history on Match.com, that's where her bad dates are. Very nice, Lillian. I love it. I love it. Okay, yeah, Carmen is sending love from Bridgeport. Okay, great. All right. So, okay, so you want to start, or do you want me to start, or what do you want to do? I could start? Okay. So, I have one of my bad dates, one of the many, I guess. So one bad date, I was, let me see, I was about 30, something like that. I had just moved back up here. I was waiting on my license to practice as a chiropractor. I'm giving this whole backstory. And so in the interim, because I needed to make money, I was waiting tables. And I was waiting tables, and it was a setup. So it was a blind date, right? Best kind. And I had a phone call out with the guy, and I said, listen, he's like, do you want to go out this night? And I said, well, I got to work until this time, but I'm at this restaurant. So I'll tell you what, if you want, you can meet me there. And then we either can grab a bite to eat there because the food's really good, or we could, grab a drink or go somewhere else, I mean, I'll just bring a change of clothes. So apparently the guy arrives. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't even get a description of him. He arrives, but I didn't know he arrived. And he sits himself at the bar, and he proceeds to start drinking and watching me, right? He must have asked people who he must have asked, like, oh, who's, where's Lori Monaco, and they must have pointed me out. But I wasn't working in the bar. I was working in the dining room, but I kept coming in back and forth to the bar. So it must have been like, I don't know, like an hour and a half. And one of my friends came up to me and said, oh, by the way, that guy was asking about you. And I'm like, oh my God, is that the guy? So I walked up to him, I said, are you so-and-so? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, oh, how long have you been here? He's like, oh, I've been here for a little while. I'm like, okay, well, just relax. I said, I'm almost done. And then we'll, do you want to just stay here? He's like, yeah, we can stay here. I'll get a table. I said, okay, fine. So I finish up. I go to sit down with him, and he's completely drunk. Like, he drank the whole time he was waiting there. I don't know why. And like our conversation, I'm looking at him and I'm listening to him talk, and then finally after a little bit, like it's not even that he was just drunk. He was kind of being an asshole. Like he was like snippy and, you know, whatever. And I finally said to him, like, are you drunk? And he's like, well, I had a few while I was, you know, while I was waiting for you. And I'm like, oh my God, a few. Like, he was like slurring his words and everything. And so finally I was like, you know what? Thanks so much. And I'm going to go. I had a long day. I'm really tired. And, you know, I'll call you. And it was funny because my friend set me up with this guy, but it was one of her clients. It was her son. So the client's son. So when the mother found out that he was drunk, because that's the first thing I called my friend. I said, oh my God. I said, I just left the date and he was completely drunk. He could barely talk to me. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she calls the mother up the next day, or the next time she saw the mother, something like that. She told her how the date went, and the guy got in trouble. It was so funny. Like, the mother's like, what, are you crazy? Like, you know, but yeah, that was interesting. I've also been stood up. I've like another blind date. But the worst part about it was that we had, so it wasn't even a bad date. It was a no date, right? But the worst part about it is that we had conversation. Like, we talked like 3 times during the week, couple of times for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So we had this like really great connection. So there was like,
so you thought, right?
So I know, but even on his end, he's like, oh my God, this is great. So it's okay, let's meet here, blah, blah, blah. He never shows up. So I'm like, what the hell, you know? So I end up like calling him, because this was before text messaging. And I'm like, you know, what happened, you know? And he's like, well, you know, I don't think it's a really good time. And, you know, I don't think you're my type. And I'm like, oh my God, did you come to the place and just not walk in? And that's what he did. He came to the place and he didn't think I was his type, and he walked out. I'm like, and again, it was a setup from another friend, and she knew him because she worked with him, and she like mother effed him. Like, she's like, are you kidding me? Like, how disrespectful is that? Blah, blah, blah. I was just, and the worst part about it was all in the same time period. It was all like, it was all like within a 1 year time frame. So it's like, boy, I was like, my self-esteem was just like whoo, going down like that. How about you? Anything?
You know, I'm sure. I think the worst date that I had was with actually the man I married. We went to go meet up for coffee or something, and he took me to like this ghetto diner where the carpet was like, and it was here in Florida, and the carpet was like, you know, when it's so worn that the strings are pulling, and if you're not careful, you can trip over the string that really hasn't come apart. And the cups were dirty, and I think that was, I mean, I married him afterwards, but that was like the worst date. How can you bring me to West Bumblefuck, right? First of all, the restaurant was like far, and then it's filthy. After we've had long conversation, we never like really went out. We just like conversed, and we would see each other like at work and stuff. But my OCD has always been like up front, and you bring me to this. And maybe it was a test. I don't know. But needless to say, I didn't drink anything, and I didn't eat anything. So we ended up going to like Sonic and eating at the car. So
I was just gonna ask you if you ate anything there.
No, are you kidding me? I never let him live that down. Never. Not even when he had ALS. I would still tell him, remember when you took me to that nasty ass place?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Why did he take you there? Was it just like in case, you know, was it?
You know, I asked him that once, and that was like, to me, that felt like so many centuries ago. I think he said he was just nervous. Eric was very, like he had, it like his palms were sweat in any kind of new situation, or if he was out socially. And I think he used to go there with some work buddies when he was a roofer. So it was comfortable for him to come.
I see.
What is that called? When you're like, he wasn't antisocial. He just had like a social, being around.
Just a little social anxiety. Yeah.
Yes. And it was very, very bad with him. And I was like, you're lucky. I should have left you then. I should have just walked away. I said, how dare you bring me to a place that has dirty coffee mugs, you know? So yeah. I would have to say that other ones are too explicit.
The other ones are too explicit? Wait a minute. You're saying the other ones are too explicit? The bad dates are too explicit. That's what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can go there if you want.
That's like back in.
Is it too early? I mean, listen, you could try to keep it a little bit more G-rated. I mean.
You can't. Me keep something G-rated. I have no filter.
I'll tell you what, I will one-up you. If you say one, I will say one, because you just made me remember one that is also explicit, and I will be more than happy to share it, but we can sort of keep it, right? I mean, anybody out there, would you like her to share these couple of bad dates that she says are explicit? You could keep it, we'll figure it out. We could change words. We could use code words.
We can't, because that's not Margarita. I'm going to say, you know what? This is what happened. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? But anyway, real quick. Francia, good morning, Queen. Tiffany, thank you, daughter. Lori, Tiffany says we both look absolutely beautiful.
Oh, Tiffany, thank you.
Hi, Nitza, Prima, and Iritza. Good morning. Erica,
Ruthie said she wants you to share it. And then, so Ruthie, you can't add the picture to the comments, but you'd have to send it to us, either post it on our Facebook page or post it in a messenger. So for your mug pictures,
you can post it on the comment?
No, you can't post pictures in comments.
Let me tell you something. I have like the most awesomest daughter. She's like, do it and use all the bad words.
Even Ephraim is saying that too. So, okay. So go ahead. Let's go ahead.
This was like eons
ago. You're going to go first, though.
I was like 18. Yeah, 18. So there was this guy, he was like real muscular, real like, he had that swag, and he was like no nonsense and stuff like that. And I never really liked muscular guys, but I liked his swag. He was just, he had like respect in the street. He was a boxer, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so we like went talking, and we knew each other through mutual friends for years. So then I go on a motorcycle ride with him, right? He's like I thought my cheek was gonna pull off on the highway. He was like going over 100, and I was like, what am I doing? I'm gonna die here. So we go, and we go to a hotel and whatever. And then it was like, what is that? Or better yet, where is it? Like, where is it, right? So then you're wondering, like, this is not happening. Like, you months of this flirting and everything, and then you got like, so what I did was I grabbed my pants. I said, what? I said, I ain't got time for this shit. Take me home. And I'm putting my clothes on. And you know what? It wasn't even like
Wait. The bad date was a little penis? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you said? You said
if that's not bad for you, then I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not. Oh, no, believe me. Yeah.
Well, it was like our we've known each other.
I just wanted to clarify it for the audience that the bad date was
a mini penis. Like, who got time for that? Like, I'm 18. I'm like, what the hell? You're flirting with me. You're edging me on for all these months.
Oh, God, Linda Ann is watching. Hi, Linda Ann. It's getting risque, Linda Ann, so get ready. So glad you're here.
No, Iris, it was not a booty call. That was a date. And back in 1986, that was okay. So, yeah.
If that the first date was at a hotel, that was okay?
It wasn't that we first met. It wasn't a blind date. We known each other. So we worked up the plan for that. And that was very disappointing.
I can't even. What was his face like when you?
Well, let me tell you, this is why it was a bad date. But let me tell you, he looked at me like when I was like, "What's going on? Like, are you having trouble finding it?" And he's like, "I'm in," and I'm like, "And no, the hell you're not." He looked at me like it was my fault, So anyway, you wanted to say a bad date on this show, mi gente, whoever's watching it. This is what's the thing for a premise for our show? It's realness.
Yes.
It's laughter.
Because we all have these. We all have these, like, these real sometimes embarrassing things, and we sometimes share it with our close friends, or sometimes even not, because sometimes it's just like, oh my God, I can't even, like, I mean, when I was stood up, and when I was with the drunk guy, it was, I was upset, I was humiliated, I was so down, Looking back now, I think it's funny as hell. But in those moments, you feel like, you feel like you're a loser or something like that. Or in his case, he's a little loser. But for yeah. So wait, let me tell you mine, because I know you have more, but I have one. So this was when I was dating my first husband, like way when we were first dating. So he decided to take me on a date to a porn shop, and this is the date, right? So and we lived in South Carolina, and they didn't have porn shops in South Carolina. They weren't allowed. It's not like where you live. Like, you go on Tamiami Trail, and then they're like every other store. Because I lived near you in Florida. So you had to literally go to the border of North Carolina. So we drive up. It was probably like about a 45-minute drive, and we drive up. And I'm gonna have to say, I found this out later, but I felt like he had been there before, but he definitely knew the place pretty well, because apparently he frequented it. So he's like, oh, this is really cool. So he brings me into these little rooms that they show a video, like you could watch a porn video while, in this little booth, right? So he's like, come on, let's like fool around a little bit. And I'm like, here? And it was, listen, when I tell you, walking on the floor, it was like sticky. And, ew, like, oh my God, I didn't want to know what was causing the stickiness on the floor. I mean, I knew it was causing the stickiness, but I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, really, you want to do that? And he's like, yeah. So we start kissing and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then I kept hearing voices, and I'm going, are we by ourselves? Like, is there somebody around? He's like, no, it's fine. Just, come on, let's keep going. So all of a sudden, like, we're kissing, and then, so there's holes in the wall, by the way. Now, I didn't know what the holes in the wall were, because I've never been in a place like that before, right? All of a sudden, this penis comes through the hole in the wall. Now, mind you, this is a date. I'm on a date with a guy that I just started dating, right? And we stop what we're doing, and I look down, and there is this penis through the hole in the wall. Now, first of all, I got to tell you, that is a big risk to take. You put that there, that is hanging out there. There's no telling what can happen on the other side, and you don't know because you can't see, right? I laughed so hard, and I wanted so badly to just like kick it and see what happens, but I was like, okay, I won't, I laughed, and I'm like, I'm out of here. This is too disturbing. I'm like too gross. And I made him take me out, but I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, who? And then I thought to myself, oh my God, this is what people do. Like, this is like, oh, I was such a stranger to that. I walked out, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And he's like, what? I'm like, what do you mean what? I was like, okay, that's it. We went home, and I like took a few days off of dating him for a little while.
But the question is, are you comfortable with porn right now?
Am I comfortable with porn? So we're going into that conversation.
No, I'm just yes or no, because some people like yeah. I was totally turned off by muscular men after that. Like all the way, like forever until like recently, because to me they all have micro penises. You know what I mean? So sometimes one incident like that can like set the tone for going forward. The shout outs. Hi Miggy. Hi Henny. Hi Lisa.
Hi like, Sherry Lynn. Sherry Lynn is on. Sherry Lynn. Oh my God, Ephraim is having a good time with this conversation. So so where are we on time? How we do? Oh, we're good. Okay, so yeah. Well, I did hear that if men take testosterone to boost themselves up, their body gets boosted, but the other thing shrinks. That's what I would.
And I've asked like my brother, and I've asked other guys because I have no filter. So I'm like, so I hear that because you're all like this, that you're like this, and they're like, oh no, I'm not. So I'm like, well, show me, because I really can't take your word for it right now.
Show me
So
to your
yeah, so it's
Oh God,
an
where
arm's
did
length,
he
but I was
go?
like, show me.
Get in the
I want to
place.
see.
So now you said you had a few. So do you have another bad date, or you're not going to share that?
No, but I wish that somebody listening would share a
I
bad
know,
date.
somebody, come on. Somebody's got to. I mean, I've had dates where, you know, like the car broke down. You know, we've had to walk, or we had to wait for tow trucks. You know, those. I mean, I think everybody's had some of those. I had a date once where.
But I don't consider that bad. I just
No.
consider it like, oh, see.
Well, it is if you don't like the person you're with. I mean, then it is a bad date. If you're like, get me the hell home, and then the car breaks down, that's not good. Or I had a date where the guy didn't pay. Like he said he forgot his wallet or whatever, and I had to pay for it.
No.
And I think he was lying. I really think he was lying.
But yeah, I'm trying to see. I'm trying to think like what. Well, my Robert, my ex Robert, we were together 13 years. This August will be 20 years that we're no longer. And I remember 13 years we lived together, raised our kids. And then it's been 20 years that we haven't been together. And it's been that long that he does not speak to me.
Wow.
20 years, yeah. He's still mad at me. I don't know. So, like we would go out, and the one time we went out to eat, the waiter did something, and he just like cursed the waiter out, like cursed him out in his Brooklyn Puerto Rican accent, you know. So, and I was appalled. Like, what did the waiter? And I think the waiter, you know, I talked to everybody, and I think back then I guess I was flirting, but it was innocent. It was, you know. And I always read the name tag, so I'm like, hey, Chris, how are you today? And so the waiter did something, and he went off on him in that accent, and it was just embarrassing. I think we were at a seafood restaurant in West Haven, Jimmy's or something. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that place.
God, Jimmy's right on the water.
Yes. So now that you said it could be like that, I'm thinking something huge, like, but yeah, and he literally went off on this waiter, and that was his favorite place, and we went back to it like nothing. But that's embarrassing, because I don't like, as blunt as I am, I'm not like, I won't do that.
Yeah.
And at that age, yeah, because we were together from me being the age of 19 till I was 33. So yeah, it was that early time. That was a bad date.
The more you talk, the more I'm remembering bad dates for myself. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell, that I didn't think I had that many. I'm going, we're not going to have a lot to talk about today. And then the more you're talking, the more I'm remembering. So I remember I was on a date with a guy, and he actually ended up like dropping me on the date and started hanging out with another woman that.
No way. What did you do?
Like I don't know. Like I was younger. Let me see. How old was I? I was 22, and I just was like dumbfounded, like absolutely dumbfounded. Like I didn't even know. Like, oh, and what happened was I flew. I became friends with him, and then we were going to meet in Arizona, because he was visiting friends in Arizona. I had family in Arizona. So we met in Arizona, and we had gone on a couple of dates. But then on like the third date while we were there, I guess he really just was not interested, but that was his best way of letting me know. And that was it. I said, okay, I got the hell. I went back to my cousin's place and stayed a couple more days, and then left. And it was. Oh
my God.
I know. And you know.
What an asshole.
You know what's funny? I'm thinking about it. I'm going, my God, I got stood up an awful lot. Like I've gotten a lot of that, you know. But I have to say that I think a lot of it also has to do with, seriously, like what you put out, right? Like I just was always a very, you know, insecure, and, you know, it wasn't like I mean, my God, I was like I was like 125 pounds back then. And like I had muscly arms and stuff, not like thick. I mean, like real tone arms, and I had like a bigger head of hair than I have now. And so it's like, it wasn't like, it wasn't a physical thing, because I pretty much looked the same. I haven't really aged tremendously. So I guess it was just attitude, you know, like now I wouldn't give a shit. It's like, if somebody was that stupid, you know, to like, I mean, I wouldn't let it happen, you know, or just whatever. I would make it just, let's meet for coffee kind of deal. But it's amazing. The attitude is so much different as you get older, you know?
It is. It's the confidence building. Like Miggy asked, how did those bad dates affect your thoughts on future dates? I looked forward to future dates. Like, oh shit, what's going to happen now? You know, another feather in my hat to write about later on. It never, for me, it never, and obviously for you with all your other dates, it never hindered my desires to go on future dates. My thing is, I didn't like date a lot, because everyone like I started dating, I like was with. The shortest period of time was 7 years. You know, the longest was 13 with Rob, and then Eric until he passed away. We were married, what, 7 years. So, well, 6.5 years. Maybe me from going on dates. Like now, I'm willing to go on dates, but where do you go? I don't want to go on Tinder. People think that you go on dates just to get some ass. So you can't even go on Tinder just to have fun and look at who's on, because right away that's I guess that's what that's for. Never been like on a dating site like when Lillian said her date. She didn't even go into detail, right? So Grand Ride
basically has a running list. Basically has a running list. Just go back.
So it's like, yeah, your stories are phenomenal because they are funny. And thanks for sharing it. You flew your ass all the way to Arizona to get
my
this.
ass to Arizona. Yes. Yeah.
Shame on him. Have you seen him since then?
Oh no, I never talked to him since. No, that was it. Yeah. But I, you know, it is what it is. You know, it is.
That's funny. That's funny.
He wasn't like that. I'll tell you that. So that made it all worthwhile.
But I think like with the whole bad date, I think when someone has their issues and they diss you by not showing up, you know, or by actually being there in body only and just making you feel like total shit. I think the confidence that builds character in us, and then the confidence that exudes from it. It's like now guys are not gonna want to try us because our confidence is so high that, you know, we're gonna have that sticker up here like don't mess with me. You know, like I'm not the one.
I mean, I say to myself all the time, it's like, it's almost like you get to a certain point in your life, and it doesn't have to do with age necessarily, because I've met plenty of women who are very together and they know exactly what they want in their 20s, and they're very, you know, very strong, you know, empowered. But I think you kind of have an attitude like, listen, this is what I want, and if I meet somebody and that they don't fit the criteria, then there's no point in going further. Like if I'm happy if I'm by myself, that's not a loss, you know. And I think that was my problem when I was younger, especially. The reason I didn't go on a lot of dates either. It seems like I did. I would date.
I wish I did.
I dated a few people, like either one or two dates. Then I date, and then I would date people for like 3 months and then break up with them. But the 2 longest relationships I ever had, I ended up marrying them. So like, so for me, it was like either I was dating these little 3-month things, or I would date longer and then get married. So, but I have so fun. I always joke and say I'm dating myself. So, you know, just get a stack of batteries and, you know what I'm saying? And you're good to go. So that's the perfect date, right? So you'll never have to worry about that because you handpick it. See, now you go out to the store or online and you say, yeah, not this. I want
Well, that's a whole other topic.
You don't have to worry about that anymore. What'd you say?
I think that'd be a great topic, because a lot of people think it's so taboo. But yeah, that's when
What, sex toys, that's the topic? Sex toys, that's the topic?
No, masturbation.
Oh.
People think it's a taboo, but I think I have my other views on it, and I think it should be welcome. Anyway, that's another topic. But I think when we go through certain letdowns, whether from strangers, because a blind date is like a stranger, right? So who gives a shit? That was their loss. I always look at it as their loss. And again, you do that thing where, here, take your issues back. I don't got room for it in my life. And even think being young and going at and I know I have more but the thing is, the whole thing with all that is that we never stop trying, right? We don't allow things to get in our way. And I, just the simple knowledge, and it's a fact because I lived it, is when someone's supposed to be in your life, when their whole birth was intended to meet you in a certain season in your life, it's always the person who's not your type. And we're so busy looking for our type that we're missing out on the person that's every morning saying, "Good morning, beautiful. Hey, Margarita, how are you?" Handing me your mail, whatever the case may be. But because aesthetically they're not our type, we hinder ourselves in meeting a great person. When I first met my husband, I thought he was the ugliest thing. We used to call him the Grinch because he looked like a black Grinch, right? And he used to get so mad at me when I would say that, but eventually he just accepted that it was love. I said it out of somewhere of love. And I would look and sometimes he'll just be sleeping and I would look at him and I'm like, what the fuck? He is so totally not my type, right? But he was supposed to be in my life. And then eventually, they say you love, and then you love them for who they are. And he was the most calming soul to me. But in the beginning, that's how it was. Had I missed out on that because physically he wasn't my type, I would have missed out on so many life lessons. I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So it's like, and that's what happens. We meet people and we think we're going to pick and choose, like the batteries. You pick the size of that and you buy the batteries that fit. And because sometimes we don't even know what's best for us until we dig deep and we have experiences of bad dates.
And I think that's the thing, is digging deep. Like it's getting to know yourself, because see, I'll give you a rebuttal on that, because the two men that I married, I did not like in the beginning, and they were not my type at all. And then something happened and they ended up becoming my type. But I think, they were both very trying, hard relationships. And so I think it really still has to come within you. Like if you get knocked down and you get to a point in your life where you're feeling desperate or feeling lonely, and that's what you're guiding yourself towards, because I know that's how I was, with all those dates and those 3 months of dating people, they were letdowns, and all they kept doing was they kept hitting me. They kept hitting, like chipping away at my inner soul and my self-esteem. And then there gets to a point where somebody pays attention to you and you're just like kind of desperate for that affection. So again, I think it has to do with, it's not just age, it's just the person. When you finally realize, that there's something more to that person. So like with your husband, you weren't physically attracted to him. He wasn't your type, but there was something that, like, his soul was
his spirit. Yeah.
And he kept going for you.
Yeah. Like his spirit knew, because he has such a calming spirit, and I'm such a rageful soul.
Yes.
Like he's that knock on your door lightly. Hello, this is me. Is it okay? And I'm I'm gonna kick your door in and drag your ass out type of person. Well, I was, because now I'm zenning. Yeah,
but you still have moments, and that's why we love you. That's because because it's real. Listen, you could be so zen and you could be so relaxed,
and I'll still punch somebody in the throat all day. No problem. My boundaries are set. People who know me know my boundaries. People who don't know me and cross them learn very quick, because it's about self-love, it's about self-respect. So it's always up around. But yeah, he had a very calming spirit to my rageful soul. So I needed him. It was the divine intervention. It was the universe that sent him to me at that time in my life. And then he became my assignment from God, to where our whole marriage, he was paralyzed due to ALS, and I was his full-time caretaker. And it was just like a different turn of events, and it was just like I was born for those moments in my life. They were not, no, oh my God, I can't believe I went through that. It was like, wow, I went through that, you know? So yeah, so the bad date, and he was the one that took me to that diner. So imagine if I would have left his ass in that dirty ass diner just because he knew the mom and pop who owned it. You know, where would my shattered pieces of my soul be that he helped me glue back together with glitter? And then he would have been placed in a nursing home with his ALS until he died. So, you know, it's all good.
Well, you brought up a good point. The bad dates, diner, the people that we don't think that we're attracted to, or things like that. Bad relationships. There's no bad. In the end, there's really no bad, which is a great segue into Thursday's conversation. There's no bad if you learn from it. Like if you get knowledge, insight from it, there's no such thing as bad. So there's no bad date, there's no bad relationship, there's no bad experiences. It doesn't mean that in the midst of it, you're going, oh, I'm so happy to be here. This really sucks, but I'm happy to be here. It's not, we don't want you to say that. It's afterwards, is to look back at it and say, what did I learn? What did I gain from this? So we're almost out of time. I do want to shout out to anybody else, but Ephraim does mention that he thought masturbation was a beautiful topic. And,
it is, Ephraim. It
and
is.
he said self-love, masturbation is self-love.
It is, and self-discovery, which
Yes.
is important for you to then have great water clashings of orgasms when you're with somebody, because then you're going to know what your body wants and needs, and you're going to direct them, right? So it's that grand waterfall, like, whew, you know?
So I guess that's going to be another topic of conversation. We will do that. So before we go, let's see. Our next Viva Cafe con Leche is Thursday at 8 a.m. We will have 2 guests on there. We will be talking about happiness, how to be happy. We're going to talk about what makes us happy and what makes our guests happy. And Margie, you just want to mention really quickly that you've changed your format for your Facebook.
Yes. Moments con Margarita is going to be a moment with Margarita.
Oh, she's cutting out. Hold on. Say that.
Which means it will no longer be a set schedule. I know I was going to Sunday. Good. So Moments con Margarita will be as spontaneous as Margarita. So whenever I get like this, like I believe that I have this phenomenal, like earth-shattering conversation to have, I'm going to pop up like slut magic and be live. So then we'll talk. But as going forward, Moments con Margarita will be just that. They're going to be spontaneous moments with me at the spur of the moment, because I really want to focus all my love and attention to Viva Cafe con Leche, because this is it's like, I can't express how much this show just fills me with light, and it fills me with just excitement. Like I get up, I'm a night owl and an early bird, which makes me an exhausted pigeon throughout the day, right? So, but I so look forward to just getting on this show and talking with all of you. And that's why we like to express how we want you to communicate. We want you to.
Oh, wait. I want to, before we go, I meant to do this when I was asking you about your paintings. You always have such nice paintings, always have the same background. I'm going to have to start changing my background. So I wanted to share my 6-year-old's painting that she made, a nude.
I love it. Look at the boobs. Look at the boobs and the pigtails.
I'm gonna hang this behind me, and it'll be my nude.
I love it.
Isn't that Oh my God. Either that or people are going to call social services on me and say, my kid.
Why? But you know what's the biggest fuck up we have as as adults is we think an imagination is childish. Like I'm always in my imagination. I come up with ideas. I like jump up and clap. People think I'm retarded sometimes, including my children. But you know what? It's that thrive of life, and that's what the children had. And if we need to learn anything, just go sit in a playground and watch children.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
So yeah, hang that up. That's awesome.
We got to go. So we will see you guys on Thursday. Please share. We want to really get this really rocking and rolling. We have some fantastic topics that we are going to be talking about. As you can see, we have a lot of fun. We don't have a lot of filters, and this is real conversations, and we want you to include yourself in there. So send a picture of your mug, either post it on our Facebook pages or send it via message. Definitely have comments, questions. Please be a part of the conversation. We'll see you Thursday. And be you, be real, be extraordinary. And Miss Margarita?
We'll see you Thursday. Buenos dias. Namaste. Remember, breathe in the beauty. Breathe out the bullshit, mi gente. Ciao.
See you guys Thursday. Have a great couple of days. Bye.